Hey guys, it's Sunday morning at Axpona. I'm here again in the Altec Lansing Infigo room, and I'm here with Hans. Now before we start talking about his amplifiers, this man's my hero. So last night they had an after hours party in here, and as I mentioned in the previous video, these guys were kind enough to let me in Friday morning to hang out with them. And so they were playing some bass heavy stuff, and we were all partying. It's okay. So I said to Hans, Hans, can you pull up Brain Salad Surgery, not the album, but the song? He knew exactly what I was talking about, but he's looking through the app. Where the hell is it? And both of us, and then I found Works too. He found it, and okay, we knew what to do. And then it clicked. And he says, Joe, by the way, I'm the guy that recorded Keith Emerson's. So I touched the man that touched Keith Emerson.
I have to make a small correction here.
Okay.
So I did not record the Three Fates album
Okay.
that we're talking about,
Okay.
but I did record the event where Keith Emerson got presented his Lifetime Award in Nashville, in Bowling Green at that time.
Yeah.
And so yeah, for me it was a great honor to be with such a celebrity keyboard player, and just to be with this man and have dinner, talk about music, and him playing piano. He was just playing some stuff, and we were thinking like, wow, this is amazing. He says, oh, I was just doodling a little bit, you know. That's how people just go that are so good at something, and make it seem easy, where we just think like, holy moly, this is amazing. So yeah, it's too bad that he's not with us anymore.
Dude.
But
I told you.
he was just an amazing man.
I cried that night, man. I was like, and like I said, we had the discussion last night. Thank you again for giving me a ride back to the hotel.
You're very welcome.
So let's get back to the amplifiers. You see how I go off on a tangent right away? Because I have to. So your Infigo amplifiers, are they Class A-B design, or is it a Class A design?
It is a Class A design, but with a bit of a twist.
Go ahead.
So when I started developing amplifiers, I knew right away, like Class A, that's the cat's meow. It's just so pure, pristine. It gives you the no distortion, no crossover distortion. But there's one problem, and that's the heat. So if you do brute force Class A, you will be having a very, very large heat production, especially if you want to scale up the amplifier to the levels that we actually want to play. So the first design that I made was actually a 1 watt Class A design that was brute force, but was still running already very hot, but sounded just terrific. But yeah, 1 watt is not really cutting it unless you have super efficient horn speakers. So I've spent actually a lot of time to tackle this problem. It's actually very difficult to do it without sonic impact. You know, you want to have that pristine performance, and you don't want to do anything that touches that.
Of course.
It's a magical creature almost that is so delicate that you can kill it without knowing. So at some point I found the solution to do this, and this is a different approach. So what I'm doing is adding such enough power that all transistors are conducting at all times, but not at the full force. So for this reason, all transistors are active and never switched off like would be in an A-B design. That preserves that Class A pristine sound quality, but without cooking the room, as I like to say.
We won't mention other companies' names, but I know what you're talking about. And one thing I do like is it's a very compact design when you consider normal Class A amps. They're, you know, this big, this deep, and you know.
Well, that comes indeed also with that heat production. You know, if you don't have to carry away all that heat, you can actually compact things a little bit, and you don't have to worry too much about that big loss of energy that goes into heat.
Very good. Now comes a stupid question that probably you've been asked 1,000 times, and why? What's the power rating?
Oh, power rating of this amplifier is 200 watts in 8 ohms. And about the same in 4 ohms, although it normally doubles, but we're just limiting the power current.
That makes sense. So people don't do stupid things with your amplifier.
Well, if they do stupid things, the amplifier will protect the speakers from stupid things being done to the system. The control circuit is almost bigger.
That's people like me.
Yeah, the control system is almost bigger than the whole input stage of the thing. So.
Wow. No, it's again, it was a marriage made in heaven. When I came in here Friday morning, and again, you guys didn't even know me. You know, it was really, and then the after hours thing last night. You know,
that was fun.
That was too much fun.
So one very interesting thing that I've run into is that whenever you try the amplifier that I designed, this Class A design, on speakers, I've always been able to get the best out of any speaker that we connected to it. There's been some people that funny said like, okay, we can even make a KFC bucket sound good. But when the speaker is the problem, which it usually is, it's so much fun to actually find finally a design that's made by Giorgio that actually doesn't have a lot of the problems that are normally associated with the speaker. And one of the things that I really always look for is speed of the speaker.
Of
you
course,
know, when things align in the time domain, which is something that Giorgio also just really nicely integrated into his new design, things start to actually do magic. So in my design of the amplifier, I actually always like to work in that time domain so that everything there is just perfect.
Of course, of course.
And that leads to a performance that's like amazing. And so that's also from my end that I'd like to say this is a very, very, very good synergy that we've got going on. And you don't really find that too often. So I'm quite blessed actually to have found this connection.
Well, after when we played Fanfare, I think Keith was in the room last night.
Yeah,
It
well, and
really
that is the
felt
fun
like it.
part.
It
You know,
really felt
music
like
is
it.
kind of like a teleporter. If the event has already been gone, you can still teleport yourself to that event, and just as if you're there. That's the magic of it.
We'll keep in touch definitely. Thank you guys. Thank you, Hans.
You're very welcome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Joe.